said, "This is our patient. We're working with him," and toked him out totally, and you know, did it basically muscle. You know, just walked in there with 8 guys and said, "We're smoking dope. Get over it," because he was afraid. Remember, that was where it started. People were afraid, you know, to smoke dope in the hospital.
Yeah.
You know,
because the other medicine was making you sicker.
yeah, and they had no answer.
Because really, you're not.
And you know, people were so conditioned to it because I had a close friend who was dying in the hospital and had permission from the doctor and the nurses to smoke as much as he wanted, and he wouldn't do it because it was against the law.
Died.
Not just because you're inside of it, but my God, this is a story that has to be told.
Yeah.
You know what?
Before it gets lost in history.
A lot of poor people, with his guidance, John put the word medical and marijuana together. It was not like that before. And like you said, I mean, it wasn't big shots, et cetera, they were in their ivory towers.
And those motherfuckers,
We had dying people knocking
Well, we
on our
had big
doors
shots
with
too,
unpaid
Angela
cabs
Alley.
rolling down the stairs,
husband
Local big
doing-
shots.
yeah.
Oh,
saying,
yeah.
you know,
Oh,
who are you?
local big-
Well, you know, I know
local
you
big
have
shots.
pot. So I
And
came
Joe
to your
Daly.
house.
You know where this
Christie.
one? You know this.
Joe
Hey,
Daly.
Dad, now what are we gonna
Joe
do?
Daly, who sat there at that one of the first medical marijuana meetings over on Divisadero at that social hall. Do you remember that one of the first ones?
I remember.
On Divisadero, and we were sitting next to Joe Daly, and she was telling us that she had uterine cancer and chemotherapy and radiation, and she felt like she was on fire until she took one puff.
Mentioning early on with the people that were in the hospital and were sick, 28 years ago I was declared positive. AZT and Xerit. AZT and Xerit were the big things at that time. And taking those things, you didn't know if that was going to kill you,
right.
or if the
Right.
if the virus was, because that was so. Every morning you end up throwing up because there was nothing else that the body could do.
We remember before that,
You
and
look
then we
better
also
now
remember
than
that
you
there's
did.
a
I'm
controlled
70.
dosage.
I'm
They didn't
70.
know what to do.
Hold on. Let me just get this in. With the legalization, this story is going to get lost if it doesn't come out, and people aren't getting any younger right now. And so, 2 things. One is that I think that we need to get members talking about their experiences, what it was like going to 1444. You know, their first time, whatever stories they have. Some of the politicos, Halloran and Amiano, and I mean, there weren't that many that are still.
Sarah.
Tony, Sarah, some of the people who were around. And by the way, it's 20-year anniversary
Coming
in
up.
August of
Yeah, right.
1444 Market
Exactly.
Street. So I'm not sure if an idea of a party, and then that would get old members. Then at the party, we can videotape members talking about the club.
We can collect the interviews, yeah.
That's one way.
Collect all the interviews. We got a couple
And it doesn't
cameras,
have
we
to
can
be-
do it in a
we
couple
can do the
areas.
party anytime.
Yeah. Good
How
idea.
do we put out the word that we're doing this?
Put it on Facebook. I mean, put
Well,
it,
the club, and then maybe club
Or
at the
create
clubs
a-
put notices at
Fa-
the
is-
clubs. Well, I mean, like I guess we could come up flyers and put them up at the clubs too. Or
Nah, I think Facebook is probably good. I'm not a
Dennis is
Facebook
Facebook.
person. Dennis is a Facebook person.
But what about
I am. There's a lot of Facebook people. That
Yeah,
a ton
yeah.
of stuff
Well,
reading.
why don't you want to be?
No, but I'm saying there's a lot of.
Yeah,
things
your
that
voice
are-
carries a lot of weight.
I'm more than happy to put it on.
This is our Facebook.
More than happy to
Let
do
him
that.
be the kid.
Justin
Sure.
is our Facebook.
More than happy to
he's
do
our
that.
face.
All right, I'll create the. Hey, Wayne, I'll create the page
Yeah,
that you
right.
can.
More than happy.
You
to
can
do- more than
monitor,
happy to do
you know.
that. More
And
than happy.
I'll send you material.
Yeah, there's a lot of.
And-
Yeah.
And Dennis has a lot of the old members on his.
Now,
Facebook,
that's it.
right?
Okay.
Don't you?
Now I'm spacing the name of the woman. She used to go to the vapor room after like 10 years ago when the vapor room you could still smoke at the vapor room, and she missed the club. So there are people who just like the bottom fell out when they couldn't go to the club, and how would we reach those people? Where would they?
And all that, then in the future, if that applies to here, okay, then this scream that we're going to hear from Zimmerman about how we need this recreational pot now and how we have to have it, is really basically astroturf. There is no actual grassroots demand for that as there was for medical. Medical, there's a grassroots demand for. People wanted that. There is no, they're going to create this demand. It's not real.
Let me set
Just
the
throw that out
context.
there.
Let me
Now,
set
I
the
know
context.
we're talking about the movie and the documentary.
No, but your point,
But-
the point you're making can be made in the context of the '90s, because Dennis took a lot of shit for saying, in a country where they're giving Prozac to shy teenagers, all marijuana use is medical, and they and I was present, and everybody said, "Oh, that shows what a clown he is, and how unserious he is, and how dare he say that." And
Cheech and Chong medicine.
and that's what McCaffrey called Todd.
Yeah.
But it was so after in like '97, Imler and another group came up from Santa Cruz, and they had a rally at the Federal Building, and it's 1997. Miano spoke, Valerie Corral was there, and Dennis is going to speak, and Panzer says to him right before he goes, "Dennis, you must not say all marijuana use is medical. Whatever you do, you must not say all marijuana use is
Thanks,
medical."
Bill.
And Dennis goes, and Dennis goes, "I'm Dennis Peron. I'm here to say that all marijuana use is and
How many times I haven't seen it?
and that line that they mocked him for is that somebody's going to like rediscover it, because it was really it was a critique of the pharmaceutical industry push that the big Prozac push had just preceded. Remember how we used to talk about Prozac? I was studying the marketing of Prozac, writing about it for the AVA. And Dennis would say, "Oh, I can always tell when somebody's on Prozac. I get chatter, chatter, chatter. I can't stop them from talking. I know always when they're on Prozac." And he was very aware of that, of how the culture had been redefined. Everybody was defined with depression and anxiety, and what's sauce for the goose is sauce for the gander. If they're going to giving Prozac to shy adolescents for social anxiety disorder, all marijuana use is medical. That's what you people.
Yeah, but we meant it. No, not Prozac, but Prozac does help some people.
Well, pot helps a lot of people
I've
too.
never
So Dennis is the bad boy
Smoking
in
money.
the beginning. They're smashing him down like the earliest raids, where it was just cops versus hippies.
What if you
Then
start?
step to the
Wouldn't
next
you
step.
start out with Brownie
Always
Mary
the center
delivering
of
to a
this thing.
hospital, and then work it in,
Yeah,
because she was the image, he was the one that pushed the word, he took the bold step
think
of building a
that's great.
building that you
He's
can
sort of a sexier
come to,
Forrest
and the
Gump.
cops and knew about it,
See what I'm saying? Forrest Gump was the centerpiece, but around him all this stuff happened, and the times changed.
Yeah.
The beginning, people really hated us. When you want pot, go to a schoolyard. Find the asshole kid in the corner of the yard with the long hair doing graffiti.
Yeah, you want
That's
pot
the
and
one that'll get
skinny
you pot.
teenagers.
Right,
They
you
all
changed
want.
that, but then that changed, and now times have changed, and once again times will change.
Well, the whole AIDS
And the times.
Right.
This was before computers, so the way things were done was different. Now there's different, whatever. I mean, we watched the whole period of change happen.
And it was so obvious how pot was helping people who were taking AZT and other AIDS drugs, and even just having the symptoms of HIV.